Welcome, Wayward Gamers! Welcome to the Emporium. I am Jay, also known as Neopet3 on the socials, your GM of fun today. And we are back with episode 7. We are back, and guess what? We have a familiar face in the crowd, and we are missing some other ones because we are back to the core group of players. We miss our guest players, but Jeff is with us once more. And we're welcome back, Jeff. We missed you.
Hey, thanks. Thanks.
No
I missed you
comment.
guys too.
Excellent. Hi everyone. Again, we are playing Saltmarsh Legends here, and we're gonna go around, introduce our characters for those who have missed or just joined us. And we're gonna start with Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing this fine morning, day, afternoon, evening? Who knows what we could be?
I am doing great at this nondescript time of day. My name is Carrie. I am playing Bryn Broadriver, the slightly grumpy half-elf bastard lady, and here we are. So we're finding people. Heroes back, maybe.
Maybe.
So we're in the thick of it. This is it in medias res, baby.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you.
I love it.
Welcome. We're gonna circle around because I want Jeff to be the last one. Jim, how are you doing?
Good. Other than the fact it's early in the morning for me right now while we're recording this, but anyway,
You're a saint. It is what time for you right now?
it is
Tell the
now
tell the
7
people.
o'clock straight up in the morning.
Hey, man, what better way to spend 7 a.m. than playing D&D?
Exactly.
Yes.
Not wrong.
Exactly.
You're
For
not
the-
wrong.
We are pre-recording these sessions
Yes.
now based off of scheduling and things of that nature. So some of you were like, "Oh, that's what that means." Yes.
Yes.
We're pre-recording these, but we are still having fun. And
Yes. But
thank
we'll
you.
probably be in chat while this is being played. So
Yes.
Well, some of us will be. Jeff will.
I'm in
So, yeah,
class. Sorry,
I'm Jim,
gang.
Hawkmere1 on Twitter. And I'm back playing our favorite grumpy dad, Glassstock Steelcloak, our dwarvish sorcerer.
I like how we're batting 1,000 on the grumpy so far.
Well, you have had some grumpy things happen. So, I can see
Yes.
why
Yeah, thank you.
you're in the
Thank you.
grumpiness of things. There was a lot of timey-wimey stuff that you're having to deal with. So,
A lot. It's
yeah,
a lot.
it was a lot. It was a lot. Thank you, Jim. And last but never least, Jeff, welcome
Certainly least.
back. We missed you. How are you
Thanks.
doing, sir?
I am doing quite well. Thanks so much. Before I say anything else, I want to give major shout outs to both RoboGoblin and Joshua, because they were
100%.
so great. Both of them. I loved every single second. And yes, I watched all the VODs the day after. So on those Thursdays, it was great. So I'm very good. I am Jeff. I play a Vero Starborn, are not grumpy at all, but entirely cowardly elven wizard who has been the focus of being sought after for the last 6 episodes. And is he back? I don't know. Am I just
don't
here
know.
because?
You
The
know,
hologram.
the GM has had many what's the word I'm looking for?
Machinations.
Yeah.
Evil plot.
Yeah, just general, stuff. You met a character who, potentially is going to die in the future. And
Oh,
another
God.
character who's going to potentially die in the future. And you became friends with that one.
Was
You know-
Robo ever really alive?
Robo-
Oof.
I still don't entirely understand that. But God bless.
But so we are hoping that Robo and Joshua will be joining us later on this year for season 3, bringing their characters back into
Yeah.
the sessions because we've got plans and we hope that with schedules they will return to join us with their wonderful abilities and talents.
We got to know what happens to Goblin's parents,
Yeah.
and
We-
also
so-
what happens with what was Josh's character's name?
Talaco.
Talaco.
What happens with Talico? Dead.
Yes. So I've already written it up. So I'm trying to figure out when a scheduling is available for them to have their mini buddy cop 1-2 shot. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So we're gonna do
That's
that
so awesome.
sometime, and we're gonna definitely put that in a special episode. So to
Can I just say I love that we have a spin-off?
our guests are all
This
spinning
is our
off.
Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it.
Sorry.
They're perfect strangers to our family matters?
Yeah.
No, other way around.
Yep.
They're family matters to our perfect strangers. That's what it
I
was.
got it.
Awesome.
Incredible.
So-
Oh my god.
As we are moving forward, a little bit of a recap for everyone.
Yes.
They went back in time Aviro disappeared and supposedly has been around for a long time, more than a year. How long exactly? Don't know. But he went back in time. He sent letters through the uh, um, uh,
Stationary of sending.
stationary sending. Thank you, Jeff. To Glasgow. God, now it's really morning. Glassstock and
Glassstock.
Bryn.
Bryn.
And the
I know it's been a
popping
while,
up.
Jay.
Yeah, it
but-
has been a while.
Go ahead.
So that
Zoom in.
they met some wonderful new players. They searched a haunted house. They defeated the alchemist again, the skeletal alchemist.
Did we really defeat him the first time though? He got away.
It's Batman kind of defeated.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
it's
right.
Batman defeated. Yeah. You met some smugglers, and you averted some processes there, and then you
Bryn
get
got
back.
us signed up for a ship voyage or
Yes,
something.
I got Bryn signed up for
Yep.
a ship voyage. You can
Lead up.
come if you want.
Which may or may not be coming up. Yes, very much so. And then you checked out. You found a Vero supposedly tower in the forest, but it was booby trapped, which Glasgow found out the hard way.
Yeah, shockingly.
Glassstock persistently found out
Yes,
the wrong
persistent.
Oh, yeah.
And then the worry that Avero was an alter ego of the Hermit and was killed. Came some information which was heart sinking. Robo the player, was beautiful when playing Goblin, as in like, oh shit, as he was connecting the dots. And then the big reveal at the end of last episode that a note by some military dude that was popping up.
Constable White Knuckle.
Yep, Constable White Knuckle left a note, but you noticed that it was actually Avero's handwriting. And the note that was left had these last words: "The body of your friend is where you once walked with purpose." And immediately it was Bryn and Glassstock knew exactly where to go. And as they trucked to the deserted dwarven mines, they searched, they found a small cavern. And as they walked in, they see this large tower and a bugbear guarding the outside, which they've heard that there's been a lot of bugbears killing individuals, and there's a bugbear infestation or something going on in the mines. And you see the bugbear, and Glassstock, it was Glassstock, or was it Bryn? I can't remember, that yelled, "Avero, where are you?" No, it was Bryn. At which point, an image of a long, cloaked, wizard-robed elf with a large, pointy hat floats down from the top of the tower, and in a great emphasis, "Glassstock, Avero!" And that is where we're going to pick up, as this image of this elf in wizard clothes floating down in front of a bugbear to Bryn and Glassstock.
I have one addendum to that,
Yes.
Jay. It was not an excited Bryn Glassstock. It was a tentative and
Oh.
questioning. Bryn Glassstock.
Okay,
Very
sorry, it
important.
was a tentative,
Yes.
like, huh?
Yes. It was
The fact
not.
that
It was not
matters
exuberant.
makes me nervous.
Yes, that's right. Thank you for addenduming that, because I missed that in my notes. So,
Mhm.
Please take it away.
Bryn would kind of like almost like be like, her face is excited, but then kind of like hesitant, like, and like look at Glassstock and like,
And
are you?
Glassstock's going to put his well, I mean, if he's got a shield and axe, he's going to put his shield arm in front of Bryn for a second and say, "Avero?"
And what you see in front of you is Avero, as essentially as you remember him. His clothes are a little different, but he is very thin, very, very thin.
Ooh.
You look at him and say, "Ooh, he's not eaten well in a very long time."
Right.
So you see a very thin, gaunt-looking Avero, and he is looking at you very skeptically, and he's probably 15 feet back from you, and he's keeping his distance, and he has just said, "Bryn, Glassstock," and so Glassstock says, "Avero," and so Avero says, How do I know it's really you? Tell me something that only I would know about you that no one else would know.
Your most prized possession is a pen that your mother gave you.
You look like shit. What have you been eating?
Puts his head down.
And at that, you see relief flood over his face as he rushes for you and he wraps his arms around Bryn.
And it hurts because he's so bony.
He's so bony. And then he wraps his arms around Glasstalk and then he says, ow, you hurt with your mail. Oh, and then he looks at Glasstalk and says, wait a minute, why are you all singed?
Why are you so thin and dirty?
So he's actually not dirty.
Okay.
He's not dirty.
He's very clean. He's just a freaking beanpole.
He's just a beanpole. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. When you say, why are you so dirty? He snaps his fingers. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's and suddenly his major illusion goes away and all his dirt and the smell is gone.
Okay.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Oh, that was for the locals, just in case it wasn't used to throw them off. Anyway, I asked you first, why are you singed? I've not eaten very well. I'm so sorry. There's not much around here. I don't really have much money. Why are you singed? Were you in a fight? Of course you were. Of course you were in a fight.
It was and then Bryn is just like smiling and laughing and kind of has her hands on her hips and just taking in this whole situation.
It's a long
Go
story.
ahead,
but,
Glasstalk.
yeah,
Tell him
it's,
why you're singed.
yeah, and that's not important. What's important is we found you finally.
I didn't know where you were. You were gone. I woke up and suddenly you were nowhere to be found. And I wrote you all kinds of letters and they didn't go anywhere. And I don't understand why it didn't work. Which of course I
it worked.
told you,
As
but
Glasstalk produces the letters that he has.
and he jumps forward, he grabs his letters, and he's like looking at them and looking at all the sides, and he's making. Can I make an Arcana roll to see if I?
I'm not going to
to
make you make it counter roll. These are your letters, and what you realize is that because you wrote them and you left them in a box in your tower, they once they got to this time, then they started to go, and then it was like how you're writing them. It was just being sent left and right, and
Fascinating. So time ends up being a complete breaker for the sending spell. I had no idea. I must take notes of this. And he grabs paper and quill and he starts.
Avira, might I suggest in the future you could save yourself some money by doing a little rough draft? We got a lot of words from you that were not necessary.
One of us got a lot of words from you, as Glasstalk points at the one that just has the word shit on it.
Yeah,
I would
I'm
have
not
you
much
know,
of a
I'm very
reader.
efficient when I write. Nothing is superfluous. Everything's important.
Yes, I mean
Come
it was
now.
all good. Don't get me wrong, but it was a lot. I
Well,
got
I'm
to
so
one that was 3
glad.
pages long.
Well, that's nothing. 3 pages? A trifle.
And
A note.
most of it, if I'm going to be honest, I did not understand.
Well, that's. Of course you don't, dear. And he just pats her on the cheek. Oh.
If you,
And
Bryn-
he turns to
Bryn-
Glasstalk. I'm so glad you're here.
And
Glasstalk's very wide-eyed right now looking at her. So, see, we grew some balls while we have been away from the two of us.
Come
and
inside.
Bryn
Come
would just kind
inside.
of like, I'm gonna go get a drink of water from that pool over there.
Oh no. Don't
No.
drink from.
No.
Drink from. I've got fresh water inside. Come inside. It's so good to see you.
All right, so
And he
I guess
ushers
we
my man.
follow Vero over to
and
this
you
tower.
notice that bugbear just walking back and forth.
Yeah,
And it doesn't even pay attention to you, and it's very
friend-
obvious that it's
friend
an
friend of
illusion.
yours. Oh, okay, yeah.
Friend of mine. Oh, him? Yes. Oh, that's Lucian. I just made him out of. He's illusionary.
Okay. all right.
Oh, he's going to say you made him.
Well, yes, of course. And then I started a rumor that there's bugbears here to keep people away. You see, I've been followed.
Wow. Followed by who?
The Church of the Cult of the Purple Sheep. They're here. This is where they're starting. This is where it all begins. Is here. I've made some terrible discoveries. I don't know if I should tell you.
Well, let's get inside
think-
and then we'll
Yes.
talk.
Yes.
So he ushers them in, and it's just like the tower, as you
Mhm.
remember it.
Except it's
glass-
got a little bit of the second floor, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
it's
it
got
always
the
had a
second
second floor.
He chose that instead of a bathroom, as I recall.
Well, it's just it always has 2 towers. You can just choose what you put on.
Gotcha.
each
Floors,
floor.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Glassstock will produce some rations for Vero so he can eat some.
And he gobbles. He just
Yeah.
gobbles it up.
Because I've got like 2 weeks worth here. So
As through his mouthful of food, tell me what you've been up to. I want to hear everything. The last time I saw you was when we were fighting the alchemist back in our own time.
Bryn would be drinking a glass of water, and then she would probably also be pulling out a flask and taking a nip. And then she would tell him all about, well, we met a nice half elf and a nice what was it? What was goblin? What was it? A forge, right?
Iron Warforged. Warforged.
Yeah.
A construct?
Yes.
Yes. He was very kind.
Fascinating.
He asked me what kind of flower was my favorite, and I realized I hadn't thought about that before.
And what did you tell him as he pulls out and he's writing this down?
Said lavender. It's the first thing that came to my
Lavender.
mind.
The important thing is we found, partially through your notes and partially through our help with our friends, we did find the alchemist's house, cabin.
Did you?
Yes.
Ah, very good. I'm so glad.
Yeah, and he was dead.
He was dead.
Well, he was undead.
Yes.
He was undead.
Yeah.
He was undead.
Well, now he's dead.
Now he's dead again.
Yeah.
Undead. Right. Well, fascinating. Tell me about it. I never got to the inside of that house. What happened? What was there?
Oh, it's
Was
we don't
Rocky
want to go
there?
back there. No.
No.
Okay. As I thought.
Yeah. No. So yeah, Rocky. What's the nice way of saying this? Rocky escaped from the alchemist,
Yes, I know.
and now he's a fugitive that's being hunted by what is apparently the beginnings of the Adventurers League. There's a bounty out for him.
Well, there's a bounty out for all black dragons at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, but more specifically, I believe my uncle and Radek and his group are looking for Rocky because the alchemist was actually hiring groups to go after him also.
Because of all the black dragons, he's the
Intriguing.
best black dragon, I think.
Well,
Probably.
of course. Interesting. Well, I did go search the swamp for Rocky.
Yeah.
When that seems to be the most likely place that he had escaped to. However, I found no evidence of him specifically. Plenty of black dragons of several different age groups. However, of Rocky individually, I could find no specific trace. So I know nothing about his current whereabouts.
Do you think they're like his progeny? Is he making little black dragon babies?
He's not old enough.
I don't know how dragons work.
Although even with the time jump, no, he's not old enough yet to.
We had him for like
procreate.
2 weeks, and he made the growth of like 3 years. He's grown.
Yes, but not to maturity quite yet.
Yeah.
Think of him as a Randy prepubescent, but not quite to the point of being able to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Although we're getting close.
And without his box was what seemed to be helping him age faster.
Oh,
I hadn't thought of that.
So, but we do have the box.
Honest.
So perhaps going back out into the swamp with the box, maybe somehow we can use the box to attract him.
That's a great idea.
And I'm not hate to say this, but the last time we saw him, he was when we were all kind of jumping around in time, and he was big and terrifying. What if something happened that we thoroughly want to find him?
Was I there for that, Jay? That's what I don't remember. Was Aviro there?
I think that's when you...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
So
Aviro-
we
so
all went there.
You all went to the
split from there.
future
Okay.
where the older 50-year-old human
Mhm.
provided the box, said, "Hey, you were all there," and just as he was about to, when he started to activate it, Aviro, you went first, and then you were looking around
That's
at
what I
each
mean.
other, and then a few seconds, within 6 seconds, 12 seconds later, then the rest of you got as the large black dragon, Rocky, as was coming towards you. So yeah, you did see Rocky destroy Saltmarsh.
Okay. I think through his mouthfuls of food. I think if we were to mount another expedition, we might be able to actually make some inroads.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all we can do, right?
Sure. Glostock's just shaking his head at Bryn because he does not understanding a word that he's saying right now with all the food in his mouth.
And Bryn, who has spent a lot of time around a lot of hard dudes that frickin' talk with their mouth open and with their, with their mouth full, like, oh yeah. Well, I think we could all use a good night's sleep. This has been quite a day.
Indeed, you have no idea how excited I was when I learned you were actually here. I was speaking with Hendrik Copperlock. I was looking for a few more tomes, and he mentioned that there were folks of your description. I couldn't believe it. I was flabbergasted, which is why I left the note with what's the innkeeper's name?
Carl.
Which is why I
Yeah.
left the note with Carl.
Yes, he very enthusiastically made sure that those notes got where they needed to be.
Yes. So, what, besides looking for Rocky, what have you been doing, Aviro?
Bloody running for my life, I can tell you. The cult of the purple sheep are bonkers. Let me just consult my notes here real quick.
But why are they targeting you? I mean, they wouldn't know you from,
I started asking questions to the wrong people, apparently,
okay,
Questions
like
about
who?
what?
about
And
what
yeah,
they're doing.
but why?
So people are disappearing.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
There
People
we
have been
go, all right.
disappearing, and I got a little bored looking, just watching the alchemist's house, and so I started researching what might be
Hero.
going on with the disappearing people. Well, I found out many things. It's very good.
Please tell me you didn't just walk into a tavern and say, "Hey, does anybody know about this cult of the purple sheep? I've heard that they may be kidnapping people." That's not how it went, right, Aviro? Why are you not saying words?
What do you want me to say instead of that?
Totally happened.
Gods.
Totally happened.
Oh, God.
So there are currently rumors that underneath their church building there's a labyrinth of some sort. I've seen people go down but not come back out. I've seen people come out that never went in. I don't know what's going on. So apparently that particular church building that they are occupying previously belongs to Umberlee of Sea and Sky, a chaotic evil deity of oceans and storms. Very old. Are you not familiar? I can produce, and he pulls out a book, and it's called Jorda Fine's Book of Deities of the Unkind and Unmerciful.
Yeah. No, I like Bryn is very aware of any gods of seas and storms.
Excellent. I'm so glad you're familiar. Then you know how unlikely it is that that was a place of good. I asked a few more questions, and I learned there was a change in leadership within the cult. But that's really when things started getting really weird, and people really started disappearing at an alarming rate. Certainly more than a few persons here. That would be the norm in this particular day and age and technology level.
I have a mildly unrelated question. Why are they the cult of the purple sheep? I can't imagine them being that fearsome if they are the cult of the purple sheep. Why are they
So
called that?
I believe that the purple sheep is an extra dimensional being of some form, and the purple sheep is just its avatar, its form. It's not actually a purple sheep. It's something much more unknowable. I'm not entirely sure.
If I was an all-powerful being, I would not manifest myself as a purple sheep.
Perhaps
Ew.
purple sheeps are terrifying where they're from. We don't know. Maybe they breathe fire and
Or it would be a way to make yourself more accepting to people.
oh, soft and cuddly, or a banal animal of burden. Interesting
Non-threatening.
concept. If you think about the deific ramifications,
Aviro, in your research, you do know that the purple sheep has been around for probably 30 plus years.
At this point in time.
At this point in time. And it was basically, it was a sheep that came with a group to Sandpoint, or excuse me, to Saltmarsh, and it displayed unusual intelligence, and just people just flocked to love for it. The Legends of Saltmarsh, the heroic adventure group, adopted this purple sheep as like its mascot, and because of their fame, the purple sheep became fame. And then when they started to go kind of away, the purple sheep was out, kind of still meandering, and it was just this landmark in Saltmarsh. But then because of the landmark, people, like I said, people noticed that there was something unique about it, and they were very charmed by it. And then it became, someone proclaimed divinity, and then it was placed on a pedestal of great divinity, and the cult of the purple sheep was born.
I believe it was most likely originally a perfectly wonderful, inspirational piece. However, I believe since this change of leadership has happened, it's been corrupted in some way, and they just took over an existing religious power and are bending it to their nefarious whims. Especially because of this labyrinth that seems to be under the building. Well, I did see that their head priest has this talisman, this new chappie who has taken over.
What building?
It's obvious. You can't miss it. It's got giant purple sheep banners right outside. Have you not been in town? I thought that's where you came from.
No,
That's
we've
not
been
weird.
looking for your dumbass. Keep eating.
Well, you found me.
You need
Right.
to eat about 20
Okay,
chickens a day
so,
for about a month.
So he has
Right now, if you fell down, you'd break.
Number 9.
Okay, wait.
building number 9.
Number 9 on the map.
So I found that the priest had this talisman. It's clearly a talisman of a demon of some sort, which is why I think that they're not quite legitimate anymore. I also know that in their ceremonies, they pass around an elixir, which was apparently blessed by the purple sheep, which cures ailments, provides enlightenment, which is how they get the unwashed masses to come in to begin with. However, those who actually drink the elixir are never seen again. So things are very peculiar, and I don't know what's actually going on, but something's going on.
Bet you anything it's sheep's piss.
Ew.
Yes, very much ew.
Do I know
Also,
purify
the never
food and
having
water?
been seen again.
Wonder if I know purify food and water.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
I don't think I do.
Okay. All right.
Well-
So we have a conundrum here. We have two things that we have to deal with. One, we have to get these purple sheep people off of Vero's back. Two, we have to find Rocky. I think it would be easier to find Rocky if we didn't have to worry about constantly watching over our back. So maybe we should look into what's going on with the sheep people. Rocky, I think, can take care of himself for a little while without us. I'm just worried about if there are groups that are actively going after black dragons, that increases his chances of being caught.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I mean, those are our choices of where we're going to proceed from this point going forward. So
that's a good thought. I think we should go after the cult. Because if
Indeed,
they're going
well
after
reasoned.
Rocky, not only are we getting rid of the cult for, getting rid of the cult's sake, but we're protecting him too.
Right. Yeah. So
Then it is agreed. You shall all stay here this evening, and then on the morrow we will be off to see what we can find out. It's very exciting. Although, do I continue to disguise myself? I hadn't thought of that. Oh no.
And at this point, Bryn, who is getting a little bit drunk, would kind of reach a hand over and put a hand on Aviro's shoulder and be like, "You don't have to disguise yourself anymore." He kind of nods over at Glassdock and smiles at Aviro.
And he reaches out and he grabs both of your hands. Well, all right. So this one's for shorty arms, and this one's for.
Oh, okay. Like, let's say grace.
And he holds their hands, and he looks each of you deep in the eyes, and he says, "I am so relieved that you are here." And you can feel him relax.
Oh, that's
Glassdock walks up to Aviro, and he puts his arms up like this. And as Aviro bends down, Glassdock punches him in the face and says, "Don't ever do that to us again," and then walks away.
You should
Like,
Glassstock, you could
roll
have
for
waited like
damage,
a
man,
month
because I'm
for
pretty
punching
frail
him.
right now. Roll for damage.
You could have waited like a month. He's like a deer rattle right now.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if
Glassstock
I
has
can-
been waiting to do that for a year.
Yeah,
or a
It's
month.
gonna hurt your hand.
23, I would assume hits.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You take 5 points of damage.
Ow. From the ground. Ow.
And then
Good to see
Glassstock
you,
helps him up, and
Glassstock.
then casts Cure Wounds on him.
I just picture that cat meme of like bite, lick. You know?
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Oh. Right. Well, my home is your home. Enjoy. Oh, I do still want to hear about how you got singed, though. I'm very curious. Normally, you're much
Do you
more
want me to hit
careful
you
than that.
again?
Oh,
Glassstock.
why would
Bryn puts a hand on both their chests and be like, Glassstock, for the sake of his pride, you should tell him how you got singed.
Let's just say your traps work.
And you should be very proud of yourself.
and he's
Amira.
and he looks confused, and then this light bulb goes off. You went to my other tower.
That did not go well for him.
No. Yeah,
Wow.
it's not pretty. Both times.
I'm very happy to hear this. Not about your discomfort, of course. Excellent. Hendrik really knows what he's talking about. I got those from him, you know.
Yeah.
He's an incredible individual. I would love to spend more time with him. It is unfortunate that I will not be able to. Ah, well.
Yeah.
And what time of day is it?
It's getting in the evening time based off of finding stuff. So yeah.
May I offer you refreshments? And there's like the tiniest berries from bushes because that's all it's left because the bears got all the good ones, you know, like
Oh, no.
the
No.
smallest leftover unripened fruits.
Vero, I
Greenland's
couldn't.
not so bad if
No.
you drink water at the same time.
It's straight juniper. Vero, I couldn't eat another bite, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest.
No.
So
No,
I
and
think
let's-
I'll
Plastock slips Bryn some rations.
I take them surreptitiously, and I'm like, I think I'm going to turn in. And if you guys listen, you hear as Bryn is presumably trying to fall asleep, you hear chewing.
So
I
as the
apologize for getting up and all down all the time. My cat wants to come in and out.
no worries, no worries.
I had to pee a second ago.
The kitties are
Thanks.
welcomed. So the evening settles, and everyone, since you're in the tower, there's no need for guards. It's all locked up, and
Oh, we have the illusionary bugbear that's guarding us.
you have the illusionary bugbear
How
guarding
long
you.
does that last? Maybe I don't have that.
Based off of how
Yeah, that's only 10-minute concentration spell. He's gone.
Yeah, but
Okay.
based off of what Hendrik did, it probably was more of an almost permanent. It's like a magic item that he kind of crafted that's connected to your thing.
Oh.
That I would be looking at it as like a magic item that basically you have a sentry, an
So can
illusionary
I-
sentry.
Can I write that in my inventory?
Sure, but it's got a
That I
limited
have
use. It's got a
Okay.
limited use of
Okay.
so many times per week. As you are sleeping, all three of you feel comfortable in the beds because these beds feel very the word I'm looking for similar to what you remember, that you've spent so much time in Avero's towers before us traveling that you've got.
Technically, I've never spent any time in a Vero's
Oh, you
house.
haven't? That's
That's true.
right.
Right.
That's true.
That's true. Bryn, you feel comfortable that
Yeah.
the sensation of your room
Like
that
home
you
bed.
yeah, your home bed, and you feel that secureness of like, and that weight that was on your shoulders about missing Avero, and that those words of find Avero, save the sheep, save the realm.
Save the cheerleaders, save the world.
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
And you feel that accomplishment, that the first part of that, has been completed, and you're feeling very, very secure, and that, like I said, that weight, one of the weights have been lifted off your shoulders as you sleep, and you dream well. And as you're dreaming, images of a cat. No.
Sorry, yes. Bye.
No, I love it. You start to feel that sensation when you were on the cart, when you were first coming to Saltmarsh. That
Oh God.
transparent fading. You have this dream that you are fading in and out. You're translucent as your fingers and your legs, and you're becoming and then not. And over the course of like doing just normal activities of walking around, and if people noticed you or not, and you just had this uncomfortable but not too uncomfortable dream, sleep. You still got plenty of sleep and you still feel rested, but just this, some weight has been off your shoulders. There's still some weights on your shoulders that you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, is there anything that Bryn is feeling now that is with everything that's gone on? Because like I said, seeing Rocky I mean, it's been only a few days. Surprisingly, it's only been a few days since you've actually come to the town. And it's been very overwhelming. And this is one of the first times you've actually felt relaxed to be able to process everything. Is there anything that Bryn is moving forward? Because with the Harper sending the ledger and the notes and the journal off, and realizing that, the potential for everything.
So Bryn is feeling relieved, and she's kind of drifting to sleep, and she kind of has this moment where she starts to kind of like focus on what's next. And she mentioned earlier in the evening the quick flash they saw of future Saltmarsh with Big Rocky, and like how it was all burning, um and the Harper that came and brought her the box. And she's just kind of like, she just thinks about that moment and how strange it was, and the person that brought her the box, and how it was most definitely a Harper, but he looked like, she feels like in her gut like a nagging feeling like she should know him, but she can't put a finger on.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
That's it.
Okay. Glassdock. This is the first time you've been in this comfortable bed in the tower, and it feels quite reasonable. It feels nice, and it feels like Avero definitely made your area, room, your bed, homey enough. He studied you enough and he knows you well enough that you feel comfortable, very comfortable in this room. And again, as you're drifting to sleep, you have dreams, which generally you don't, but for whatever reason, because that first burden off your shoulders has been released, and like I said, you've had that. You're also having that moment of a slight relaxation of, because you found Avero and that task has been completed. You're feeling a little bit relieved, and that like I said, that one stone or that one weight off your shoulders. How is Glassdock looking and feeling as the next process or dreams that kind of come to him?
He's obviously relieved at finding Avero, because that was his primary concern. Because as much as he hates to admit it, he actually does care for Avero and his safety, almost like he's a like a little brother kind of thing. A very
20
annoying,
decks.
a very annoying little brother, but but at the same time, as we've discussed many times in the past, Glassdock is the one that is most leery about Rocky and his ability to become a weapon, especially in the wrong hands. And that, now that Avero's been found, all of a sudden that becomes the priority.
Mhm.
It's and he knows because of Bryn's attachment to Rocky that if somebody is going to have to make the ugly choice, it's going to have to be him.
Mhm.
The old
And then
Yeller
deal
moment.
and then
No
deal with
Yeller moment for
a-
Bryn.
and then
Good.
deal with the consequences of dealing with Bryn after the fact. So that's I mean, I mean, let's admit it. Glassdock was the one who wanted to weaponize Rocky to use him against the diplomat noble guy, which in turn got him captured. So he feels
Mhm.
bad about that. And so now it's like, well, now I've got to right that wrong. And if that means eliminating Rocky from the equation, Glassdock's going to have to be the one to do it. So
Mhm. So the new weight, the other weight now becomes heavier, while the
right,
Avero weight has been
yeah.
been taken off, and you're searching. One of the other things that happens to you as you're dreaming, you have a really strange moment, is that you you suddenly, as you in this process of seeing Rocky, you notice in your dream that your legs and arms and body start becoming translucent at one point. Is that your as if you were, whatever you were doing in this process, or even in battle, as you noticing that suddenly you kind of were stopping, and you were swinging your axe, and your grip on your axe wasn't as tight, and you noticed, and you look down, and you're starting to see through your hands and this axe, and then as you're swinging a little bit more, the axe drops to the ground as your arms start to disappear a little bit, and you just this unwilling feeling of disappearing, and then you come back and your arms come back to normal, but this strange feeling of wisping away and coming back kind of fills your head with dreams as well. Vero, how is Vero doing now that his comrades have come back, he's found them after 14 months
Mhm.
of being on his own? And
Mhm.
how has his
Okay, so
his
that's how long he's been.
yeah,
Because for like you said, for Bryn and I, it's days, but for
yeah,
him, it's
Mhm.
been months. Okay,
Been
it's
months.
yeah.
all right.
So
It's been over a year.
it's been
It's been
over a
over a
year. It's been
year.
like 14 to 15 months that
Wow. Okay.
Avero has been in Saltmarsh town.
Yeah, well,
And
it's at least been it's been a change of seasons. We don't know how long a year is in this world, but it has been a full
12
change of
months.
seasons.
Yeah, 12
Okay.
months. So
Okay.
but again, it's been, because it's been that long, and you've been on your own for that long, and
Mhm.
the dirty like persona that you've had to and keeping a low profile, um and then having to be here, and but like I said, the joys of actually, how is Aviro feeling, and what is on Aviro's mind, and what dreams is he having?
So Bryn went to bed first. Is that
Mm-hmm.
right? So she went to
Yep.
bed, or chew, chew, chew,
Yeah.
crumbs, 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 and then
Yeah. Choo choo
uh,
choo.
Didn't want to be rude.
so it was so did Glassdock set up with a Vero at all, or did he kind of go right to bed pretty much right
No,
away?
he would have sat up with Avero. If Avero wanted to talk, Glassdock would sit there and listen to him while he was drinking. So
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
so
listen to him.
A Vero vomits at words at you.
The keyword
he
drinking.
yeah, he is so excited to see you that he just dumps all the information that he has on anything over the past year. So he just kind of dumps on you what he's been up to, uh, and throwing in the occasional. You have no idea how relieved I am to see you. And after he kind of fills him in on what's been going on, he tells him about his time watching the house, and then he tells him about talking to people on the Purple Sheep. He explains why he became the hermit and why he had to hide from the Purple Sheep people, and uh, when I arrived at the very first day, the wicked goat was still there, so I walked in, and suddenly I heard a tiny glass dock on my shoulder and a tiny Bryn on my shoulder that said, "Don't give them your real name." So I didn't. I listened to the
Oh,
tiny Bryn and tiny Glassstock,
he's
and
growing up.
I didn't give them my real name. It wasn't until afterwards that I thought to disguise myself. But I wanted you to know that I do listen when you yell at me, and I'm trying to work on not walking right in and asking questions about the cult of the purple sheep, which I did anyway
Okay.
later on.
Yes.
But I was under disguise, so I thought I could get away with it. Ah, well. So it goes.
As Glassnox finishes his drink and pours himself another one.
So he talks about Hendrik and how he really likes Hendrik, how he thinks Hendrik is a super interesting individual, and he's the most verbose dwarf I've ever met. I can't believe it. And incredibly intelligent. So he really likes Hendrik. And he says to Glassstock, "I have an idea on how to get us back to our own time when the
Okay, now
time
that's
comes."
when Glassnock perks up.
Yes, he's just heard like Charlie Brown teacher.
Oh, by the way,
Get us back to where
Oh,
we come
what?
from. When I spoke with Hendrik about it, and he had some very good ideas. He thought, what if we turn ourselves to stone? We turn ourselves to stone, then there's a few ways of doing this. We entrust ourselves to some kind of trusted individual, which would watch over our statue selves until proper time to bring us back.
you're talking hundreds of years, Aviro.
Exactly.
100.
100.
Hundred of
You're
years.
talking hundreds of years.
To bring us back to normal. I think it could really work. The problem is finding the trustworthy party, but I was thinking, what about Carl at the Wicked Goat? Don't you remember the blue book? The blue book at the Wicked Goat with my name in it. Why is my name in his book? He says you're the one. It could be us.
You're talking about one, the possibility of the rest of eternity being a statue,
Mhm.
and then finding someone that we can trust to turn us back.
Mhm. I'm not saying we do it today. Once we find Rocky, I'm saying,
I'm
but it could
not
be.
saying we do it at all. That's what I'm not saying at this point.
All right. All right. Obviously, you need to think about it for a little while. So we'll table it for now. And we'll circle back.
No.
We'll circle back. We'll
I
circle
like
back.
how Glassdog is like, no.
I will
see. You have to
pencil you.
think
I'll
about
pencil.
it.
We'll just shelve this for now, and we'll come back.
Look, 100 years is a drop in the hat for you. It's a little bit of time for Bryn. It's more time for me. But push comes to shove, I'd rather take my chances once we find Rocky of just living our lives out until that time.
Here,
Well,
now, in this time,
look,
rather than going back to your own life.
No, but look at my life. I can't speak for Bryn, but maybe we'll have to talk to her. But we know what Saltmarsh is supposed to become. What if we help that along?
All right, I'm listening.
Well,
We could be a positive force guiding it into the way that
exactly.
it should be.
Maybe that's why we're here.
You raise a particularly interesting argument. I shall have to ponder this.
Because then, let's be honest. You high elves can live for 1,000 years.
Or more. I'm
Okay.
not to brag.
Okay. So 100 years, you'll still be well before middle age. Okay. If we can shape Saltmarsh to be what it is supposed to be, and perhaps head off certain things, like a particular library being overrun by a spirit. Perhaps if we squash the cult now and preventing the actual time travel in the future.
Thus negating our own existence.
Not negating our existence.
Quantum time theory clearly states via Aurea
Maybe the
dots
next leap will be the leap home.
If there's no alchemist in the future, then Rocky never gets transported backwards, which prevents the horrible thing that we saw.
Can I make an intelligence roll to
Yes,
see
please.
if his idea
Yep.
is legit here?
While he's making that roll, I imagine that like the kid. Oh, nat 20. Tell me.
No, 19 on the die for a 24.
Oh wow.
Few things come up with that.
Timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey stuff. Preventing the alchemist may fix some things or potentially could butterfly problems, and a new timeline erodes from that because you're not sure what the alchemist has set forth in his going back and forth in time. He's already been here, so he's already been going back and forth.
Right.
And based off of some of the because Talico has his journal, right? So Talico has the information. You were only able to see a little bit of the information. And at this
What
time,
color is Talico's journal?
The Alchemist Journal.
Which the blue book?
No, the blue book is the wicked ghost.
Oh, it's the okay.
That's
when we fought the undead alchemist, we took his journal.
You took his journal.
You took his
Talico
journal.
Has,
and
right.
Talico
has
in that journal,
because that talked about the lightning
and
stuff going on.
And you know that he's been bouncing back and forth in time. If you somehow took care of the alchemist in the future or when he was coming, eventually tracking him down, there could be some timey-wimey issues, which could potentially cause additional issues, but you're not sure. There could be a butterfly effect. There could be an alternate, Steve Rogers timeline, Avengers timeline situation. Who knows?
Hero's married, has 3 kids.
So funny you mention relationships. Bryn, I imagine, so as these guys are having the conversation, the camera kind of pans over and Bryn is like turned to the wall and she's only like pretending to sleep and she's listening to all of this. And as they kind of start to float the idea of just not going back, she starts to think about Tib. And she starts to think about her whole future with the Harpers. And like this one kind of driving hope she's had this entire time is getting back within the good graces of this organization and maybe having a future with Tib. And if we stay, all off the table. And so she kind of like is just pondering all of this as these guys are talking.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is, Evero, you would have gone is that if you did that, you would have to do it in secret. Mm-hmm. Because if any of your knowledge came out of who you were in town, it would definitely change the course of Saltmarsh. Because there was no records of necessary... The records that you know of, because you're extensive studying, there were the Saltmarsh Legends. But they left several years ago, so they weren't consistently going and influencing the town into the city. But if you were there influencing town, influencing the city, there potentially could be some paradox effects with Glassstock's uncle. It could be some paradox events with Copperlocks. It could be some paradox events with the Harpers, because the Harpers, like I said, depending on, they're still in infancy. So there's a lot of unknowns. It's not impossible, but there definitely would be some unknowns. And if the goal is to stop Saltmarsh from being destroyed in the way in the future, it is possible. But it is also possible that if you do that, that would be the cause. So it's unknown what potential. There's a lot of factors that kind of play it because it's timey-wimey stuff. And that's why a lot of people, and there's a lot of books on the timey-wimey stuff about, if you're in that, potentially changing things is good and bad.
Yeah. So Vera will pitch. So Jay, what you're saying is it is better to try and do this in secret, at least for now.
You would have to do well.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Is that what you're saying?
Okay. Glass Glassstock. The thing is that obviously Glassstock's not as smart as a Vero.
He's probably got more wisdom though.
Yeah.
Right. But the way he's looking at it is we've already caught glimpses of the fact that we have been in the past, because of the books and paintings, and there is some references to us being in an earlier time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this is Glassstock's thought process is if we're supposed to be here, then let's make a reason for being here, because this is just a village. It's not the city yet. There is no alliance with lizard folk. There's all of those. There's a lot of those types of things that we could probably do behind the scenes and not make it publicly known that we're doing it. Because now this is a question to Jay.
Yep.
So for the city, the cult of the purple sheep, it wasn't very prevalent because we almost never heard of it in any of our earlier episodes, correct?
Correct.
Other than just in some references to the past.
Yes.
So they basically had become an underground organization.
Yes. So in Avero's investigation or study of Saltmarsh, the few things that you know is that the Saltmarsh legends were prevalent in this time period in the town of Saltmarsh. The legends did many great things. Brokered peace with the lizard folk and stopped a great calamity from destroying the city at that time. That's how the Blizzard embassy became, because of the work that they did with there. They did some great feats within the town. Rumor has it they took out the cult of the purple sheep around this time. Came to light that they were evil and were defeated, but remnants over time, they went underground, and there's little remnants still in the city. So the cult of the purple sheep was, because no one likes the cult of the purple sheep because what they did around this time affected Saltmarsh, and hence that's why they went underground. And there's very, very little pockets of them in the city because they did survive, but to what extent, no one really knows. There's little cells. But looking at with Avero, combining with Avero's studies, that the legends of Saltmarsh legends were prevalent and then stopped, and then they left, or something happened and they're no more. They're gone. They left and never came back, or something happened to them. It's very, very vague. So the information on the Saltmarsh legends is that it's mythical, like they're great, but there's no information on specifically who they are.
Right. And that's kind of what that's his angle at this point.
Avira will nod and look very ponderous. You've given me a great deal to think about. I think it'll make a lot of sense. I think you make a lot of sense.
I mean, we'd obviously have to talk with Bryn about it.
Of course. Well, I'm going to start to recast my spell. If you're still up, enjoy. I'm going to enter my snoozy state soon.
Snoozy state. And that's Glassstock walks up to Vero, pats him on the shoulder. Snoozy state. And he just turns around. As he walks towards his bed, he turns and he looks at him and goes, "I really did miss you, buddy," and then lays down.
I missed you too, Papa Bear.
And I kind of imagine there's different room. You actually have rooms in here with a door or something like that for privacy within the manor. So it's not a big open room. You actually have like small little rooms, is because you can create it however you want within that area.
Right.
So now Aviro lays down in his snoozy time. What is Aviro's dreaming? Like, what is the joy of being able to see your friends again? It's been so long. What is on Aviro's mind during his nighttime snoozy time?
The timey-wimey stuff. He is not thinking about Brennan Glassdock at all. There is a math problem to solve.
And your brain is hurting. And even though, like I said, you only need 4 hours of sleep, I do need a wisdom saving throw. Actually, it would be a Constitution saving throw. A Constitution saving throw, because your brain is just going.
And
you make it. You are You are tired in the morning,
but I'm not exhausted.
But you are not exhausted because your mind is. You were able to spend that 4 hours of meditation, but during the entire time, in the back of your mind, you're doing all the math problems,
and it's like when you're so excited you can't sleep because you're going to Disneyland the next day or whatever. Like,
yeah,
it's that.
Exactly.
Like, he's so excited to get up.
Christmas.
Yeah, like totally. He's so excited about working on this timey-wimey problem that he can't wait to get up and spend the next 4 hours until they wake up working on this timey-wimey thing.
And some of the things you come up with is that because it's timey-wimey, you could be causing the problem or healing it, and you're not sure. There's a lot of factors that come into this, and you're researching the books that you've read. You haven't read a lot about this, but some of the information that you've got is it's a very, very thin line, very thin tightrope to walk to be able to do this. And as you're thinking about this tightrope of walking, then your dream, you come and you're starting to realize your hands start becoming translucent as the potential butterfly effect of making choices and changing. And then you've got, as you're walking down this line, suddenly 15 different, it gets to a point and there's 15 different tightropes connected to this one point. And depending on which tightrope you go, it some snaps, some twang, some grow, some light illuminate. But as you're standing there, the translucentness of your hands start to go, and your body starts to becoming almost a ghostly form, and then it comes back into solid, and you're having the weigh on you of like choices of not sure what will happen. And then all this is kind of coming in your meditative, and then you wake up in your the next morning as things come. And that's what we'll pick up is, what are you doing the next morning?
So they come down, and Avira got his books and his pens, and he's writing and thinking, and so that's what he's doing.
Bryn would come down a little bit sleepily, and he kind of like looks over his shoulder, and she's like, "Isn't it a little early for math?"
It's never too early for math, Bryn, dear.
Bryn, do you have his pen? His quill?
And I would kind of rub my face, and I would dig into my bag. I'm like, "Aviro, I have a surprise for you."
And he continues writing. Yes, what's that?
And she would kind of like get up behind him and like come around and like have his quill like and put it like right in front of his face, because she knows this is the only way to get his attention right now.
So the shot is like over Aviro's shoulder, and he's writing, and this hand just comes in with this pen, and he's writing, and he's slowing down, and he's trailing off, and he stops. He puts his other pen down, and he sits up, and he takes the pen, and he turns around, and his eyes are wet.
Oh no.
And he just he leans over, and you have the boniest hug. You can tell he is squeezing you with all his strength, and you're just like, there.
Don't be cry. And yeah, she would just be like, "We found it." And
where was it? Where was it?
It was in your room at the. It was in his room at the Wicker
It was
Goat,
at
right?
the other room, his supposedly sister's room, where he
His
got
sister's room.
captured.
So
Oh,
yeah, we found it, and then for the record, this is how we knew you were in trouble. You wouldn't leave this behind ever.
and he's clutching it, and he gets it ready, and he licks the nib. He puts it in, and it flows
And I'm glad
so
it's like
nice.
Bryn smiles as she sees that it still works, and she's like,
It's like butter.
"Yeah."
Thank
So
you. Help
oh,
yourself to berries.
your one berry.
You can have
I
it.
don't. I thank you. I am
Welcome.
all
But
set.
Glassstock just produces more rations for everybody.
True.
I have not really been able to purchase things.
It's
I've not
okay.
really had any way of earning any money.
The one thing that you notice this morning, Bryn and Glass, because you're searching, you're 150 gold short.
Each
Just
or
from last
Each.
night to this morning.
Yes. Each of you are 150 gold short.
I probably
I would
wouldn't
kind of like
notice right away considering the amount that I have. So
Mm-hmm.
as Bryn actually, fun fact, she sits down and as she does, her coin purse kind of goes "Prrrr," and it's like she kind of like jiggles it a little bit and the sound is different than she's used to, and she's like, she knows, and she like looks in her gold pouch and she's like, and she like feels it again and she's like, Glassstock, you a little light this morning.
I don't think so.
Why don't you check? I'm curious.
Well, it's going to take a bit considering Glassstock has over 3,000 gold. So
Bryn, you also notice a small trinket, like a something that wasn't in there before. Something that she would have grabbed or something that she would have had to like purchased.
Huh. I reach in and I wanna pull it out and look what it is. What is it?
You tell me. What just something small that
Oh,
she would have like um potentially gotten based off of like it's almost like a
like a
coin
souvenir?
receipt. Yeah, a souvenir.
Oh,
Like a
okay.
souvenir potentially from the Wicked Goat.
Okay.
Like a
I
small
have
little
so
souvenir type
Like the
situation.
little
is
like the Carl's grandkid makes little like twisty
yeah.
It would have
Yeah,
come
wicker
yeah,
from
yeah.
the
Okay.
goats.
city. It would have come from the city.
Okay. So Bryn pulls out. This is something, it's small. It's
Yeah,
about
very,
this
very
big.
small wood
Um
metal, very brief metallic, but something like you would have noticed in the city of a like a almost like a coaster or some little trinket that indicates that you've been at there is almost like a, but it's
so
from the
this
city. Yeah,
right.
Did you buy at that store where that kid had that crush on you? Did you buy a little thing just to make
Of
him
course I
happy?
did. And I'll tell you exactly what I bought right now. So what I bought. So this is just like a little tiny carving and it's actually made of obsidian. And it's he had a bunch of these that were made of all different kinds of stone and quartz and shale, and there were a couple more expensive ones that were made of like jade and like different ones, but Bryn picked this one that was obsidian because it was right in the middle of the price range.
hmm
And it's a tiny little dragon about this big, and
oh,
it's made of obsidian, and so she would have bought that to first of all just buy something to be polite, and also because it's
and the thing that you and suddenly your mind is slightly foggy on this, but you remember at the Wicked Goat, you saw a note or something like that being sold at the Wicked Goat in the city, but then you
hmm
purchased it from him. So it's like he was selling some stuff at the Wicked Goat, but then when you went to the general store, Radix General Stores, where you actually purchased it, but
got it.
it was because of, and it's foggy. It's very very foggy of, but it's something from there.
Okay, got it. So that.
Yep.
Hmm. So that's something Bryn has, and it's kind of coming back to her and be like, huh. Well, I guess, yeah, I remember I remember buying this now. Never mind. For a second I thought Aviro was stealing from us, eh? And she would kind of whap Aviro on the chest and kind of
Ow.
forget that he's a little bitty guy now. And
Vero, you're also
Yeah.
missing 150 gold.
Vera has $0. He has nothing to lose. He has no money. He
That's
spent
right.
it all
You
on those
didn't.
spells.
That's right. You have no
He
money.
spent it
Yeah.
all on those
Yeah.
spells. He
All
has
of it.
no money.
Yeah, you had no money.
That's why he's
Mm-hmm.
barely alive and living on
That's right.
cast off berries.
Mhm.
oof.
Glassdock, there is something you noticed in your room last night when you went up. You
Okay.
noticed that the short sword that you gave Aviro is mounted on the wall. Very
Aw.
nicely.
Oh, that's so cute.
And Glassdog would
That's
pick
all.
it up and go, "Yep, still hasn't used it."
Not a notch. That's
Well, at least
awesome.
he's keeping it clean.
Yeah.
And it's very nicely presented.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a place of honor. Sure as shit isn't in a scabbard.
So, yeah. Aviro will
Scabbards in the
say,
corner or sitting close
Yeah.
by.
no, it's hung underneath. It's
Okay,
hung
it's hung
underneath.
underneath.
It's a
Okay.
very
Oh
nice,
yeah, it's
Okay.
very
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
Kinda.
tasteful
picture it.
display. So Aviro will say, so what's the plan, gang? What do we do now?
Well,
Question.
if we're in agreement about the sheep, perhaps we should go check out their base of operations.
Agree.
I can
think
show
we
you
all-
what I know. And
please.
so,
As opposed to telling us?
well, yes, I can
Well,
actually show
that'll
you so
go
you can
much
see with your
faster
own
then.
eyes.
He has props.
I will
Glassdog.
pretend not to have heard that. What did you say, Bryn? I'm sorry.
I said
Someone
he
was
has
being rude.
props. Let him. He has props. Let him use them. He did all this research and he
Yes,
sequestered
props.
himself in a cave. He has a presentation prepared. I think we should listen.
I do, in fact. I'm so glad you brought it up. And he pulls out a. He prestidigitates a giant presentation board, like
Yes,
like a
The point of
board.
power.
Yes, my point of power.
Glassdock pours himself a drink and then pushes one over the fridge.
I take it gladly.
In the
So it's-
morning.
So it is a map. It is a map of current Saltmarsh.
Beer
but it is-
30 somewhere.
Damn right it is.
and it's marked which is the purple sheep and what all the things of interest in. And he says now he tells you how you will approach, from which direction, at what hour is best to avoid notice, and where is the best vantage point. Although for 3 people he has to rethink. But that's the plan.
Vera, that's very good. Glassdock, aren't you glad we listened to the presentation?
Sure. Yes. As he kind of wakes up and
Yeah, and Bryn, so Bryn being a kind of a sneaky type who has done this kind of like sneak in unnoticed before, does Aviro's plan seem sound? Does his, as she looks at this map and knowing what little she does of the town, does she does she agree, or does she see any flaws, or does she see any possibility for improvement?
There's a possibility of improvement based on what you know is that there's only one main front door, and there's some windows and stuff like that that you might be able to sneak into. But based off of what Aviro, it is a main floor plan that is basically your standard large church that kind of opens up. The main door goes back with parishioners and pews, and then gets into a large altar, and then there's behind it there's some statues or some other things. They're very well lit, but then there's some side doors that potentially is where the underground access is. But there's probably several people or acolytes inside, different things, and then outside in the front, there's always this. What you notice this when you're walking in outside it, because you've walked past it because it's the number 9. There's a slab of concrete kind of in this close to it where a purple sheep lays and sleeps on, and the members stand around it singing to it and chanting around it, and they have services at various times, and then their members go out to recruit as well during the day, is what Vera would know also. Evening, you know that there's a morning, dusk and dawn are the 2 main times that they do services where they involve and they do math. So based off of that midday or midnight or mid-evening, like would be probably the best time to infiltrate. But during, like I said, midday, there's several people. If it's in the middle of the night, the doors are locked. But again, depending on the situation,
That's cute. Okay. Um so yeah, Bryn would kind of nod and say, "Yep, Avira, I think you're spot on.
I've spent a
Nighttime is
great
best."
I've spent a great many months avoiding them. I feel I've gotten fairly good at it, especially because I can become invisible.
That helps. That would help.
So
Well,
he's not actually set foot inside of the church. He's talked to people who have, but he has walked up invisibly right up to the door and like looked in and then scampered away as quickly as he could.
Of course.
I say we wait until evening mass is exited. Wait till they lock up and then go in there, pick the locks and see what we can find. Bastock?
Sounds good to me.
And Bryn would start like, and until then we just kind of relax today. Suppose.
We could I could go get supplies for us. I can look like anyone I want if you just give me
Why don't one of
We-
us go get supplies? Or we could go as a group, and if you want
We
to
could.
disguise yourself, you can.
But it's up to you.
All right, I will.
I think we should go as a group. I do need and Bryn would at this point like unfurl her thing of lockpicks. She would be like, I need a new one of this.
Mhm. Yes.
Well, the smith in town is very good, I hear.
There
I'm
is
sure
a
he's
general
got some.
store too.
There is a general store.
Yep. Well, we'll see. I should probably go through the smith. It's probably not a good idea to walk into the supermarket and be like, hey, I need stealing tools. Smith is usually a little bit more discreet.
Mhm. So spending more or less the day, that day you can kind of definitely get lockpick tools from the smith. That's not going to be a problem. You're going to be able to find that. You're going to be able to case the the temple, no problem. If that's what you are, you looking at casing the temple for a little bit based off of during the daytime and things of that nature.
Yeah, I'd say
Yes.
so.
Everyone give me a stealth check just to
God.
see
Wait.
how well you're unnoticed during your time of stealthiness.
Oh. For me, the dirty 20.
Oh, perfect. I'm kind of doing a group. How well everyone does as a group.
So mine is a win.
Yes.
Dub for me.
An 8. And
Very
a Vero?
clanky.
I thought I could turn invisible. There it is. Invisibility. I turn invisible.
But so you're but it only lasts an hour, right?
It's like a plus 10.
Yeah, it's only an hour.
But give me a
Oh, like an overall stealth? Okay.
Yeah, give me an overall stealth. So over time and stuff like that. Now if you're being in
Dirty 20.
30, yeah. So there might be a time where you're kind of looking around and Glassdock, you're like intently looking at the sheep. And then a cultist comes up to you. One of the cult members comes up to you from the side street. I see you're interested in our. Are you interested in joining the cult? We have wonderful materials. May I preach to you?
Wait. Does he actually say cult?
No, he says church. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. That's GM.
Are you
He's
interested in joining our evil organization?
Are you interested?
I mean, our religion?
Are you interested in our church, our benevolent deity of the purple sheep? It has some, materials, and he basically there's two of them that are pitching the church as they kind of noticed that you were. But
Are we
overall,
all together?
yeah, you're kind of all together, but
Okay.
you can definitely move away.
They targeted Glassdock.
They targeted Glassdock because they noticed he was looking. But as a group, you were able to get away, and they don't have any knowledge of nefarious things that you're trying to do. You just because you two successes versus one.
I just was admiring. I've never seen a purple sheep before. But if you have some paperwork for me to read,
there's a
about your
small
church.
brochure, and it's just basically it's just,
Pamphlet?
they have a small pamphlet, and it's just this purple. There's a hand drawing of a sheep, and then just service times and the
Okay,
new.
perfect.
So
That's what I was hoping for.
yep.
Thank
So,
you.
and then
Oh.
you go. Lunch and dinner. Where are you going to have lunch and dinner?
I think we'll probably have a late lunch, maybe a one meal.
Okay.
Guys.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. We had
Uh,
a hearty breakfast of one berry and rations, so I think we'll be fine with one.
Oh
more
yeah,
meal
no, we'll be fine all day.
on
Yeah.
the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's
yeah.
the wicker goat, excuse me, because it's wicker.
Yeah, we
here.
shouldn't eat there. We should eat somewhere else.
I want to eat wherever fake Lando is.
Fake Lando, that is a good. There is another
Fake Lando.
Let's be real.
Lido.
That is
It is fake Lando, but it's Lido.
it is Billy D. Williams.
It is. It is so him.
Dragon Daddy.
Right, you're damn right he is. You're damn right he is. Colt 45.
Oh my god. I am still entertained and just happy that was created. I
Me
have to say
too.
that was one of the best on the spot NPC creations we have ever done. It's
Incredible.
just it's hilarious. There is the sourfish or the sourfish or sourfish.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's the sourfish. There is the wicker goat are the two, and then there's the snapping line, which is a more local, which a lot of locals kind of go to. Then there's the seedy empty net, which is kind of like a very, very seedy underground bad. That's where you dropped off. That's probably where Lido was at one time, where you dropped off the stuff from the smugglers.
That's where I want to go.
Okay.
So
So
Bryn's kind of joint.
So as you go to the empty net, like I said, this particular tavern it's kind of harbors over the Rinkety Tavern. It's kind of on the water a little bit. It's definitely, you get that this is where the bad guys, mercenaries, smugglers, pirates, just the underworld individuals. It's very rowdy kind of place here. It's definitely that particular vibe.
Friends kind of place.
Yay! Love it. I love a good pub.
And as you're kind of going in and you're kind of just you looking around, and
is there a fight actively happening?
Not yet, but there's probably within a few but probably within a few minutes there probably will.
Awesome.
Somebody will accost a Vero, and then a Glassstock will have to step in. And
so a Vero has cast alter, like as we're walking in the door, a Vero casts alter self on him to make himself look. He turns into a halfling.
I was gonna say, look like a pirate.
No, you see a halfling, and it's the most nondescript looking individual. He made himself as plain and boring as possible to attract as little attention as possible.
Which in turn will attract attention because he's so boring.
I love to imagine this is like SpongeBob getting into the salty spittoon. Like this is exactly that moment.
And as you're about to kind of sit down for a second, there is like in the corner, there's a fight that's kind of happening. And then you hear the voice, that smooth, sultry voice of just, oh.
There he is.
Hold crossbows! Keep it to yourselves! Oh. And then you see the eyes lock. And he sees you he's like, ah! And he motions you to come towards and sit with him.
I would definitely go over there. I'm like, boys, you want to go meet my friend?
Oh, sure.
Has Aviro or Glassstock ever met Lido? Once you have, I believe. Glassstock.
I think he always sits off to the side to make sure Bryn's not in trouble. I don't think they've ever actually talked to him.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah. So
Aviro has seen him around town.
Yes, you've definitely seen him.
But has never approached in any
There's this just charismatic, dark-skinned, human-looking male that's just beautiful cape and just this nice fine clothing with a ring or two on his fingers, and just exudes this charismatic personality of charm and just devilish wit. And he's like, come here, Bren. It is so good to see you again. And these are your
Hello.
comrades you mentioned, is it not?
Yes. they are
Actually,
my
you
comrades.
did meet him because you delivered the the chest from the smugglers.
Even then, I went to him.
Oh,
Like
it
he
was
was
just you.
there. Like they were there, but I went over. I was
Okay.
the one that went over
So
to
you
him. I don't
you-
know. He would know that they're with me.
Yeah.
But I don't think they've ever spoken.
Yeah, so you were in the so like, it's finally good to meet you finally.
Mm-hmm.
Lido and Glassstock is it? Billy has mentioned so much about you. You're very, very well. And is this the Vero that your friend you were looking for?
Oh no, no, in a very deep voice, or trying to have a deep voice. Oh no, my name is Groden Lightfoot.
Oh, good old
Yes.
Lightfoot. It was very nice to make your acquaintance. I
And he bows very low.
Oh, well.
And he's a halfling, so he's like 6 inches off the ground.
Wow, very.
He's over exaggerating it because he's not used to being so short.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Oh, don't hurt yourself there. Bryn, I hope I have been inquiring on your behalf for that, your comrade Avero, and so far not too much has I've been able to find on him. He's very slippery when it comes to that.
Do
applaud him.
Okay. Can I make like so I got thieves can't. Is
Yeah.
he like does he know that this is a Vero in disguise or not really?
Let me make a roll,
Okay.
because this would be kind of hilarious.
It would really be impressive if he could get one over on Lido.
He suspects, but he doesn't. He's taking it at face value, but it's definitely kind of like, okay, this is unusual, but he's not minding it too much.
Okay.
He doesn't
then
specifically know that it's him, but he's definitely there's something odd about this guy.
Mhm. So
What?
in Thieves Can't,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to say something to the effect of like Bryn outwardly would say, yes, we're having a hell of a time finding him, da 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 da. We are also on the trail of talking about the cult of the purple sheep, yada yada yada. Like underneath what it is we found a Vero. This is him. Keep it to yourself. Is there any information you have on the cult of the purple sheep?
Like I said, any information I have, I'll be able to share with you on your friend. I wish you great luck with finding your friend, and it shouldn't. He is a master of disguise, and must be just basically possibly gone from the town. But I will keep my ears to the and he's cants back. Like, got it, no problem. On that note.
Wait. As he says he's a master of disguise, behind you can see in the distance Glassdock sitting in a chair and Avero sitting in a chair, but falling out of the chair because he's the height proportion.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
He's a master of disguise. Boom, boom,
Boom. So subtle.
And he's like, I'm so glad you found
God,
me.
I missed you, Jeff.
Yes.
It's amazing.
And Lido's like, I have a proposition for you. Not the one that you've agreed to by any means, but I need your help. I need a delivery. Since you were so successful in your delivering the chest to me from my accompaniment of individuals that you've met earlier the other day, and were able to traverse the terrain of hazards so elegantly. Any thieves can't. You were able to get through that haunted house because of
Remember that vampire bitch?
He doesn't know there's a vampire bitch. He doesn't say that.
Oh, never mind.
But he basically says, because you were able to get through the haunted house very well, I need you to deliver something to the captain. And he's like, I have a gift for the main person. I have this chest that I would really like you to deliver and put in the hands of the individual that you have. And he gives the name of the captain, and he's like, he needs you to get past the group that's there, and don't let them take it from you. And he's asking you to deliver this.
Well, what's in it for us?
Oh, well, gold. Of course.
Presumably. How much?
Well, um, 100 gold, maybe? 50 gold, depending on your.
Lido, as always, thank you very much for your errand. That said, we are desperately in the middle of something right now. We will be back, and at that time, we'd be happy to run your groceries for you.
No problem no problem at all. I just wanted to. You were so skilled at navigating the terrain. I thought you'd be the perfect uh individuals to be able to do that again. No problem. No hard feelings at all. But I will. Don't. I have not forgotten about your promise, and don't worry. The voyage will be coming at one point. So no worries. No worries. Sometime in the future. I look forward to that. But please have lunch today,
Yes, I
and
am in the mood for a good lunch.
and he basically starts. You all have lunch together, and this cool starts talking to you about so how is your adventuring and what are you doing? He's just nice conversations during this time.
And honestly, yeah, Bryn, like, she knows he's a little bit of a snake, but at the same time,
A
she
little.
yeah. I mean, at it based on past experience, she is a little bit of a snake, and so she kind of has conversations with him and kind of connects with him about like secret shit, and at the same time, she is trying to include the boys in the conversation and all
And
that stuff.
Vera and Glasstalk, you remember that in the city, in the future, Bryn talked about Leto and described Leto, and he looks exactly the same as she described him. And you're 100 years in the past, and it's the same charming and just that look of being young and stuff. And he's appears to be human.
Ears.
Good word. Yeah. And we have lunch, and I assume afterwards we kind of make our way
Yeah.
back to the.
Yes. Well, good luck finding your friend, and I will keep my ear to the ground as usual. And any information I find, of course, will be a fee. But we have again because of good positive working relationships, I'll give you a discount, friends and family, so to speak.
Thank you.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll be taking our leave. Lido, have a good one.
Yes, and gentlemen, a pleasure.
Blastock grabs a Vero and just pulls him along.
And Leto's just kind of like, yes. And he's trying not to smile and laugh based off of all this.
Adorable. That is so
course.
funny. I love it. I love it.
And as you leave in the afternoon, definitely, like I
Blastock
said,
immediately turns to Bryn when we get outside. So did we find out anything?
So during the conversation, I was just about to ask Jay. During the conversation, Bryn would kind of be in Thieves' Cant asking about if he knows anything about the Cult of the Purple Sheep. Do they have like a back door?
the
specifically,
church of the church of the church of the Purple Sheep.
The building.
The building itself was taken over. Doesn't seem to be a back door, main door, but there's a lot of suspicious activity going around it. A lot of people are there. There has been some the current Thieves Guild and Assassins Guild are starting to get worried about about this thing, because there seems to be something nefarious going on, because they've lost some members investigating this as well. There's no apparent back door, and that's the unusual thing about it. But there are several windows that potentially could get in. But most of them have infiltrated by just walking through the front door and posing as recruits and things of that nature, or acolytes itself. But you can determine there's a half a dozen acolytes. There's rumors of a protector, a very strong protector, very martial prowess protector. There is a high priest, a medium level priest, lieutenant, so to speak. But then, yeah, and there might be they're very, very secretive. But that's all he was able to get, which is the unusual part, is there's not a lot of information. They are definitely keeping, and they know that there is an underground structure, and something's going on down there, but no one has been able to get out to be able to relieve that information.
So I would say to Glassdock, I would just be like, yeah, apparently they are more of a presence than I think even Aviro discovered. And I would be kind of saying this to both Glassdock and Aviro. Like, they are, if it gives you any idea of the scale, they are worrisome to the Assassin's Guild and most likely others. They are the members that have gone missing, members of the Assassin's Guild, and I'm sure others, but there is no back door. They have a powerful man inside to protect the place, presumably. They have a priest, a vice priest. I don't know. What else do you want to know?
Does that corroborate with what I had kind of heard about who's inside?
Mm-hmm.
A little worrisome if the Thieves Guild and Assassins Guild are the ones that are losing members.
They've also lost members, as well as, like I said, a lot of the townspeople and things of that nature. Yeah.
So I think what we need to do is get in.
Has
and
anyone
get out
spoken with the local constabulary?
I don't know, Vero. Has anybody?
tell
You've been here for 14 fucking months.
We've been here for 14 hours. You've been here for 14 months.
Jay has. What do I know about
the
local? I figured at this point somebody had to say fuck.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yep, indeed. There's
please
that one.
Uh,
PG-13.
We get a few. It appears that the militia in the town have been definitely let them go. They are not putting any resources into looking into it, and they're kind of looking the blind eye, which potentially could be one of several things. One, they're getting paid off very well. Two, the church has something on them that's forcing them not to look into it, or they're a part of it.
Well, I think we should get in, see if the local constabulary will be helpful or otherwise, and gives them kind of a knowing look, and then just be like, get the hell out. Gentlemen?
Agreed.
All right. So
Bryn would like smell her new lockpicks and be like, I love that smell. Brand new.
Metal and oil.
Yes.
Yeah, metal and oil.
Like gun oil. It's like that smell. Exactly. Yes.
So as the rest of the evening and you observe there's chanting outside that you're hearing. There's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? There, like I said, you're listening to, you're getting your observations, and you hear a lot of chanting, OD, as they're kind of bowing in front of a purple sheet. You've heard chanting of OD of 20. Bless us with your will. Protect us with your will.
Odie?
Oh,
like in Garfield?
No, not.
No. OD.
OD as in D20.
Yes.
Thank you. I thought it was Odie like in Garfield.
No, it's O.
Got it.
D of the 20.
D of the 20. Got it.
D of the 20. Wow. Speak to us with your divine from the realm of 20. And yes, D20. This is my nod to D20 and all of his sheep and wild magic. Because he's been turned into a sheep with wild magic more times than you could possibly do for charity events. And that man is such a brilliant talent that this is our nod to our friend D20.
What a blessing.
Yeah, yeah. So spoiler there, but yeah. So as the course of time, the evening starts to go, and you start. So on roll 20, you should see a map of the outer uh, temple
Yep.
church.
Definitely had Roll20 pulled up already.
hmm
Sorry.
There's a few different locations that you could potentially look.
Mm.
There's, like I said, in the main window, like I said, there's some windows that kind of get to the main, and you know that this is pretty much one structure. It's relatively open most of the time. There's not too many small corridors or anything that you're aware of. Um, but like I said, there's also some stuff on the seal from the roof that you might be able to get through a glass window or something like that. So you have your choice of one or two small locations on the ground, or potentially going up and getting in through different locations.
Okay. So Bryn would kind of analyze this place.
Yeah, this is Bryn's territory.
Yeah.
And
And she would go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, she got her lockpicks already.
Mhm.
Does anywhere look like like that's drastically better than going in the front door, or does the front door seem as valid an entrance as any?
You're pretty sure that based off the map, there's one or two locations that are probably definitely, if there's any guards walking around, that are more like stealthy. Like the window here and the window here, because it's
Okay.
kind of all out of sight, are probably some good locations to be able to get into. The
Okay.
other thing is back in one of the ceilings in these on the roof area, you might be able to climb and get into the back area of the temple, so to speak. And that might be, but it's going to be, you're going to have to get through some rope and stuff like that.
Okay. So I think
But with
you said there was
sorry to interrupt, but with
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
levitating, you're confident that you wouldn't have to worry about a Vero climbing a rope.
Good.
I have fly.
Okay, good.
Vero's not the issue. The
Yeah.
4-foot dwarf wearing field plate and carrying a
Yeah,
battle axe and
that's
shield is the
that might be
issue.
a bit clanky.
Yep.
So you said
I
there
might be
was
able to carry you.
there was like a window right here, huh?
Yep. So
In
right
this little
here
nook.
and right here,
Oh.
both those two are window areas. There's one on
Okay.
the other side, but these give you the best cover to be able to get in.
Okay. I was just gonna say I wanna go in this one.
Okay.
I think that's a good entrance.
So
So yeah.
I would say to get up there at the time and things of that nature, you could either do two things. One, you can roll stealth with advantage, or
Okay.
have everyone roll stealth individually, and we basically best 2 out of 3 gets it.
How about what?
Well, I have a
Yes.
suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
I cast fly on Glassstock. Glassstock carries up.
We don't need to go up. This
We don't
window
need
is
to go
right
up.
here, and it's down. And it's on the ground.
Never mind.
I
I
think-
retract my suggestion.
Vera, would you be invisible during
No.
this process? Okay.
No. Saving my spell slots.
Okay.
Smart. So Bryn is gonna roll with advantage. Stealth into the thing. Ooh. So stealth check. A 23.
Okay. Based off of where you are going and how you're doing this, yeah, you make it to there, no problem. You do notice there's a sentry or two that kind of, but it's not very active. It's one of those things where they're there, but it's once every 2 hours they kind of make a round. It's not
Okay.
very, very, and as you're kind of looking in the window, it's lit. It's very well lit in the church. Surprisingly, even at this hour, it's very
Okay.
well lit. And as you're kind of looking in, you don't see very much movement up in here. Occasionally it looks like a purple sheep is walking, And you notice that the other thing that you notice is there's like a flock. It's not just one purple sheep. There's a flock of sheep that gets herded around. And within within the temple, the sheep randomly roam because all the sheep are divine. Like,
Okay.
it's very much similar to how the country of India reveres cows as divine. Is that this particular church looks at the purple sheep and all these purple sheep as divine. But there's a lot. Strangely enough, that, like I said, they have a full flock. And Avira, you notice that flock has increased over time. But the thing that gets you too is that you don't see any baby sheep. It's all adult.
They're all adults.
They're all
They're
adult.
just multiplying.
They're tribbles.
They're tribbles. Yes, they're gonna be overrun.
So, as you get to here, provide me with a lock picking proficiency.
Yay!
So your 1d, what is it, d20 plus your proficiency?
I think so.
Yep. Dexterity.
Okay.
Yeah. To add.
Can I ask a stupid question? Has Vero ever thought of detecting magic on the sheep?
Well, as this is as close as he's ever been, he's very interested in detecting magic. And if we take 10 minutes, I can cast it without using a spell slot.
So
I
no,
can
he has
cast
not
it as a
done it yet.
ritual.
Okay, all right.
So if we're willing to take 10 minutes, I can do it.
No, just kidding. we can. What do you? Yeah, I mean, we can just.
Because then I would love for that to happen.
If we take 10 minutes, can Bryn also like super investigate the lock and then maybe roll with advantage?
Yes.
Awesome.
Now the other
Right,
thing is
yay.
you're gonna have to get inside to be able to do that. So, but again, there might be
in the chamber.
Yeah, a stealth. I'll need another stealth check. So,
okay, stealth check first, and then
actually, no. Give me your advantage with the tools.
Lockpick.
Lockpick.
So that is a 17.
Yep, not a problem.
Okay.
It's not a very secured. So you're able to unlock it and kind of able to get open the window, and you're gonna when you want to get in, you've got it opened and you're waiting. Aviro, please provide. Can you roll a stealth check, please?
So sneaky, yeah. I'll be right back.
Well, as a 10.
Okay. So as you're casting this, surprisingly,
Get a little loud.
it got a little loud, and no one from the temple noticed, but someone else may have noticed somewhere in town, as it may have looked over and they saw somebody, sneaking up. And it could be the fact that they just noticed it, and they may or may not be positive about the they may or may not have positive experiences about the purple sheep. So Church of the Bull.
So they may or may not care.
They may or may not care. But someone notices that you're ritually casting. But they don't know if you're part of it or not. So they could be, you're casting something outside. So they're, they might be doing some, they noticed you doing that.
Oops.
So as your 10 minutes go by, you finish and you're going to get in. This is where another stealth check. We're going to go straight stealth check. Actually, we're going to do a group stealth check because of how I want to hear if there's a clank of a Vero getting, or not a Vero, of Glassdog.
Yeah.
So everyone, if you got 2 or 3, depending on what the rolls are. So everyone roll me a stealth check, please.
I got a 23.
24.
Hey! We're so sneaky.
As a Bryn and a Vero get in and Glassdog's about to fall, Bryn, you're like, you catch him just as his armor is about to clank. And you kind of fall on top of each other, and it's just a small little rustle.
Sorry.
Okay. Bryn would Blastock off very gently.
And you hear
I'm not built for stealth.
You're not a stealth build, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Dwarves are usually so stealthy. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. A lot of sheep in here, all right.
and literally when you moved in, there is a sheep right there.
Perfect.
And is looking at you going "Bah." And you actually hear several other "Bah." So it's not uncommon to hear bahs going around in this.
So it's not like a guard sheep.
Yeah.
Good.
Not necessarily a guard sheep that you're aware of.
Okay.
So what did my detect magic tell me? My loud detect magic.
Might as well have done
So-
something.
As you kind of are sneaking underneath the pew, you do see an individual at the altar. But as you're kind of looking at this, what does detect magic reveal?
So for the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you
Mhm.
sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint or around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn its school, if any.
Okay.
It can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
There is a faint magical aura around the sheep. And as you look at some of the other sheep, you see a very, very similar magical aura around them.
Is that aura transmutation magic?
It is a combination of transmutation, conjuring, and enchantment.
Can I make an Arcana roll to understand
Give me
this spell?
Give me an Arcana.
Ah, 2 on the die for a 10.
Dang it.
It doesn't look
I don't
like a
get it.
spell. Like something no one cast a spell on them, but it's something. There's something unique. Something's definitely magical. Some sort of magic has affected them, but it's not like someone didn't cast a spell on them. It's something else, and you're just you're just not sure what it could be.
Bryn, I have a theory.
What?
I wonder if this flock of sheep are the missing people, somehow being turned into the sheep for whatever nefarious purposes one would do such a thing. As I've seen, there are no infant sheep.
Suppose. I mean, cults generally do like their sheep, but I've heard it only in a figurative sense.
I wonder. I shall look for clues.
By the blessings of may his colorful wool cover me.
So,
And you're hearing that from the alkalite that's sitting at the altar.
Okay. So our point of coming in here was to kind of try to decide whether or not he was like whether or not these people are involved, like where they're getting their money, what are these people, like are they becoming sheep, that kind of thing.
And you know that, and then there's something underground. So, like looking around here, it looks like a normal temple, but you know that there's some access to the underground somewhere where probably the nefarious things are happening.
Like turning
So-
people into sheep.
I imagine all three of us are like ducking behind like a pew right now.
Yep,
and
that's
we're, like,
exactly
really
what you're doing.
peeking out.
And there's
I
a
really
sheep.
go, like boink.
One of the
Some
sheep
us
is
are-
looking.
Some of us are ducking.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
of the
right,
sheep
some
is
of us are-
looking at Glassdock going, "Bah, bah."
So this acolyte is just standing at this altar.
Yep,
huh?
and he's facing it and he's like praying and
Okay. So here's what Bryn would want to do. She would want to like chuck like just something, like a coin or something like over in this direction
okay,
to get him to go like maybe check it out. It's like what was that noise?
okay,
And then like sneak past him, like get behind the altar to see what's going on over here or over here.
okay.
Or you could just sneak up and knock him out. That way I don't have to try to sneak past him.
Okay. Yeah. And Bryn would
You got this. And I
yeah.
cast hold on. What's the spell?
Guidance.
Guidance, yes.
Nice, solid.
Give me a stealth check with advantage because he is focusing on his chantings and stuff like that.
Okay. With advantage. Eesh. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah, you sneak up to him, no problem. Give me an attack roll.
Okay.
And your sneak attack would be in this as well. And not lethal.
Yeah. So that's only if I hit. So fingers crossed. Do I get?
Yes, you get advantage on your attack. Yes.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, you definitely get advantage on your attack.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is an attack considered an ability check?
No, it's an attack.
Nat 20.
Woo! Mark it down. First of
I
the
did
season.
it.
Marking it.
And he's dead.
No,
Yeah,
he's
he's
completely
dead.
knocked out. He's completely knocked out. Not even going to roll damage. He's knocked out. You basically just nailed him in the back of, and boom, and you're able to drag him off without no one noticing or seeing or anything. Like it was quiet. Like Avero and Glassow, if you're watching this and you didn't hear anything, it was like
she just appears again. Okay, you could come.
Yeah,
and you guys are like, did you do it yet?
Did you do it?
Literally at that point.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Just all of a sudden the chanting stops. And then Bryn's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. And
Well, I guess it's over.
The things that you notice is that
Glasscock's like, did you kill him? I just said knock him out.
No, I don't think so.
No, you didn't kill him. You
I
did
don't
not
think
kill
so.
him. But yeah, he is knocked out. You set him in the pew, and so he's just kind of sitting.
Yeah,
in the
so he's
pew.
like sleeping.
Yeah, it looks like he's sleeping.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Exactly.
Nice.
Give him a sheep to cuddle.
And the strange enough is that he's the only current acolyte here, but there are several sheep meandering around the temple. But you do know that there is a door right here.
What kind of things are on the altar? What kind of things are there? I want to see that.
There is a cup, like a cup with some unusual liquid inside.
I want to smell it.
It just smells awful. It smells awful.
Piss.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, or something. There's a big statue and there's offerings and things of that nature. But yeah, it's a church and it's very, very themed. That statue is of a purple sheep that's kind of on four legs and it's that.
Not to detract from the gravitas of this moment. Is there any money on the altar?
Yeah, there is.
I take it.
Okay, you've got like 53 gold.
Awesome,
and like
thanks.
27 silver.
Great, thank you.
So
I take it.
Yeah. And as you,
Jay, question.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
So, was that cup of liquid within 30 feet when I cast detect magic?
No, but it will be after.
Yeah,
if you
how long
want
does it last?
I think I can concentrate for 10 minutes.
So
especially if I did it as a ritual.
Yep. So as you walk up, you could potentially look at it. There is magic coming from it.
There is magic coming from it.
There is
What
magic
school,
coming
please?
from
What school, please?
transmutation.
It is transmutation. I was right.
Transmutation, conjuring, and enchantment.
Holy crap! It's all three. Can I pull out a vial?
Yes.
An empty vial and
if you
pour
like.
some little bit in.
Yep.
I take my sample. Okay. Put it away.
Bryn's taking this gold, and then she looks over at Avero taking the sheep's piss, and she's like,
"What's it smell like?"
It's not
Sheep's
great.
piss?
It doesn't smell like cheap piss.
It doesn't have that urine.
It doesn't. There's a slight smell of urine, but it also has a metallic smell.
So,
also blood. It's urine
and something else.
In whiskey.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So
Butterscotch schnapps.
as you make your way, like I said, this is the only door like in the temple. It would be something that would be potentially getting down there. It's unlocked.
Nice.
And
can I check for traps?
You can please check for traps.
Would love to. That would what? Just perception?
Investigation.
Or investigation.
Investigation.
No problem.
Been a minute, guys. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
All right. Investigation is 17.
Yeah, there is an alarm trap on here.
Ooh.
and you're able to disarm it.
Ooh.
Hit me.
And
Okay.
as you disarm it and you open up the door, you will see stairs in a circular motion going down. And that is where we're going to stop for our return episode.
Yay! Oh, guys!
Thank you so much,
many-
everyone, for joining us. We are back. I am so glad to have you here. Let's go around the horn a little bit to where can we find you? Know that this is probably being aired in later than we are recording it, but we'll start with Jeff. Jeff, how are you doing?
I am
back.
doing great. I am so glad. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here and doing this again. I love this game. So yeah, I am currently a student, so you can find me in class or doing homework. That's where you can find me forever and ever. And it's my fault. I'm so sorry. It's my fault that we have to do this.
No
as opposed
fault
to
necessary.
live.
How
No.
dare you pursue an education?
Yes.
But hopefully soon I won't have class on Wednesday night, and then we can do this on our normal schedule. Hey, thanks for everyone watching on the while we still do this. So thanks for accommodating, even though it's not live. It's fun to do.
Thank you, Jeff. It's good to have you back. So
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes.
Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. That was a heck of a return there. That was awesome. So much fun. I'm Carrie. You can find me obviously here, and then on Mini Terrain Domain, I do a bunch of stuff. It's kind of a little bit of everything. So we're looking at possibly doing some scribes and scrolls on Monday nights. We are looking at Jake maybe has a Kids on Bikes scenario in the works, either in the works or currently happening, depending on when we air this episode. And just kind of all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's me. And this was awesome, guys. Nice job, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you, Carrie. Jim, how are you doing?
Good. So yeah, Jim Hawkmere1 on Twitter, obviously here with these wonderful people. And then on the weekends, depending on when this airs, we may be back on Saturdays. Is it Saturday? Sundays.
Star Wars Sundays.
Star Wars, yes.
Oh man.
We're doing Shadowport Adventures where I get to play Clicky, the gunslinger Jawa. So
Amazing.
which is a lot of fun.
Yes.
And at some point, potentially, I will be doing a teaching stream on Friday nights for TTRPGs. That is yet to be determined, but yes.
Yes, welcome. There's a lot, because we are airing, there's a lot of stuff kind of in motion. So some of the things we say might be outdated, but there's a lot of things going with things where we're not going to get into and talk about. We've got some stuff later on, but yeah, there's some changes here at the Emporium. There's a lot of stuff going on in general in the community. So we'll have some more information later on. Right now, we are just focused on having fun playing this game with these wonderful, talented people and sharing a story. So with that being said, I'm Jay, also known as Neofet3 on the socials. You can find me here at channel doing Star Wars and this game, and currently in prep for a pirate campaign that we're developing. And by this time, we'll be coming out with more information on that. And we have some additional information is that if you're going to GaryCon in March, we will be there. The Emporium for the Wayward Gamer has multiple games. Me and Kurt are going to be running some. And Jim appears to be there as well, which is going to be awesome. But we
representing Talon and Claw.
And we are going to have a surprise at there. So keep up for some more future endeavors on that there's some really good, exciting surprises that we have. So with that being said, we are going to say goodnight and we are going to say goodbye, and we will be back again. So welcome, thank you, and remember, be kind and don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk.
See you later.